So, good morning. Um, what did I receive this morning? My. Starting from what I took from last evening, honestly, and bringing it into fruition today. But before I go there, it was a great lesson because that should have been dealt with since last evening. And that's where it's important for me to do what I said I was going to do with my time in the evening. But anyways, because it took a lot of the beginning part of my time this morning. And so it was simply coming from the law of agreements. Anyone who touch and agree, two or more, touch and agree and understand what that agreement is, it shall be allowed. And so last evening, as you can hear on my recording, I got revealed to let go these agreements. I got reminded it's time to let go. You gotta let it go. And so I really started to reflect on all the agreements that I had. And my main one was that came up was with my phone bill. And I ended up making an agreement with my mom at the time, near winter. And at that time, she was deciding to be and go in the direction I was going in. And so I'm not saying that that was wrong with me, but now it's not the case anymore, and it got brought up to me. And so this is something that has been coming up for me these last couple of days about keeping certain doors open, and it's time to close them because I ask you to leave everything and follow me. And so I confirmed it when it came to me remembering what I'd done before. I dealt with the agreement of of um of like last time when I decided to just die and give up everything. And that was pretty colorful, but it was the realization of closing all doors. And so I know that it's important for me to close all doors within, but also understand that these agreements, you got to communicate these agreements and really understand like what these agreements, hold in place, because just how you created the agreement with that person, you have to go back to that person so that way that agreement can be broken. And so that is what was real for me, and it's important to do that inward and outward. So that's the very first thing that stuck out to me this morning when it came to Yada. And also the next thing was the realization of how powerful I am, just like me. Super powerful. I can create with my own words. I don't need anyone else outside of me to come into agreement with something. It was the clarity of I can do this. I have everything within inside of me. I don't need to look for any more agreement. I don't need to look for any more power. Me alone by me and God within me, and me just agreeing and being aligned with myself holds enough like power to get things done. And it was all just gathering from all of these agreements, understanding why I even made those agreements, because I felt like I couldn't go in, by myself, and I needed someone else to agree with me. And it's like, no, you do not need nobody else to agree with you. You want it, you speak it, you stand on it, You have everything you need inside of you. And that was another real thing that came through to me. And what was reminded of me? Something particular came up, and it reminded me that, like, how much I have everything I need already inside of me, and there's no need to look outside of me. And so that one pretty much covered a lot for me, because I would always mess up. I would get through the first, choosing who I am, standing in that, accepting my purpose, accepting serving, working was a challenge in the past. And then it always would end up, because I allowed that challenge to happen with work, I would get into these agreements to help me if I felt like I went without. And so it's important for me to shut these doors. And a great lesson came up the other day when it came to helping my mom sell. Really, it's that simple. And I'm gonna call her and speak with her, because she need to know, like, I'm not just doing this like no cult type stuff. No, I just don't sell. I don't do that. When I want to let something go to be recycled and help someone else, I give it to them. I don't sell it to them. And so and even like my Abba don't do that. The only reason why the page has anything that needs to be paid for is because that is people's gods. And so, you want my God? Okay, give me your God. And I'm gonna go use it to go build up my father's stuff and my mother's, not stuff, I don't want to use stuff, kingdom. And that is, like, we don't do that. And my Abba don't have agreements outside of God. And honestly, that was my big setback on this past time. And so this is making me accept who I am. There's the whole reason why I was a lack of price of paying attention or any other malfunction or anything that was not of me, the reality, the whatever. It was all because I knew that I had someone to bounce back on. Like, I knew Gabe would have my back, because he loves me and he loves Zeke. And so I just gotta be honest, like, man, you gotta start loving yourself. I'm not doing this because this is who I am. And this is where the beauty of being open, hearing myself, seeing this light, and deciding to see this, be woke. No, I'm just playing. But actually be awakened and not go back to sleep. Allow myself to continue to awaken and be who I was created to be, and all that was created inside of me. And keep coming back. I always love you. I need you to love you, yourself. And I need you to be who you were created to be and all that you were created to be. And so that is what stuck out to me today. And even the simplicity of my grandmother, well, my grandma, my biological grandma, coming trying to visit and staying here and doing all that stuff. Like, I'm not saying that you can't come visit. There's just a certain standard of this house. And this house, we're creating it to be like our homes within, and that's heaven. And not anybody could come over. And the only reason they felt like they could have come over is because I left that door open just in case I needed something to fall back on. And you can't leave. If you leave, if you give yourself another option, you'll take it. And that is what closing doors, eliminating them, and just ending them. But here's the harmony between it, because I would, in the past, I've went too far left or too far right, giving my all or not giving anything. And so I'm not saying that I can't talk to you. I'm not saying that I can't even show you love or be at peace with you. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying if you are near me, like I'm not gonna tell you hi. No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't hate you the person. I don't reject you the person. I mean, you're attaching yourself to things I do reject in my life, but that don't mean I can't tell you hi or I can't show you love. I mean, so through the law. And so that is reflecting on my grandma, or like, yeah, I get that you want to come see us, but it come that I mean, that's fine. Just let me know where you are and we can have some time. We can all meet up. And it's no hard feelings or anything like that, but it's like we already I want to make it mine. I want to make it mine, and I have the knowledge of it. I have the wisdom of it, and now the understanding of it would be the angle of this. Pretty much, we set a standard in our house, and you pretty much already said you didn't want to be a part of that standard, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that we can't see you. That doesn't mean we can't hang out. That doesn't mean that we can't come love on you. That's not what that means. um I just got reminded of something though. You pretty much are gonna come into my Abba's house, try to take his stuff, his 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 blessing, and try to create your own, like stealing. That's what I got reminded of, and I got reminded of it's pretty much a snake, and yeah. My eyes are just being opened up right now about everything.
Mommy?
And
Hello?
it's real.
What are my leg eyes?
So not going too far left or too far right. And because another thing was me going too far left or too far right, the agreement that I made, first of all, be very wise with your agreements, because you be slow to speak, quick to listen. it could pretty much affect your life if you allow it to. And I made an agreement years ago, almost 6 years ago to be exact. And I used to not really treat that agreement kindly. And it's simple. It's about Ezekiel's biological dad. And I didn't want that to be nowhere near me. I didn't want that to even be a part, like, at all. Because I understood, like, I can raise you up. I don't care. I'm not accepting nothing physical. But I also had to understand, like, he came into this world saying, like, from God's perspective, hey, these parents, these guiders want this type of child who want to go and help, because a child is supposed to help. And he decided to go, and he made it. And where I messed up at is because I've been trying to fight this one assignment for him to get done. Now, I'm not saying that I'm about to jump on a plane and go do it. No, that's not my job. My job is to guide him in the way that he should go. And I'll get more and more clarity, but my whole point is that I don't have to hate the person. I can reject how they're living and be aware to guide, God strengthen accordingly. But I can't block him. That wouldn't be fair for me to block God's strengthening from fulfilling his assignment. And just relax. Like God's not gonna send us somewhere that we're not equipped to handle. So it was just a real moment, seeing how much agreements is real, and understanding how my covering handle these. And it's important for me to act the way I want to live. So it was a real moment, a real morning, real moment. Last time I realized how real these agreements were, I was trying not to even say, like, what's up to nobody. Because now I'm agreeing that you exist. And it's like, if you don't stop, they do exist. Relax. And it's important for you to recognize what was actually created for me to function on. What these agreements caused me to feel like or accept the reality because of these agreements, and allowed what I accepted based off of these agreements, whether I seen them in years, whether I talked to them in days, it didn't matter. These agreements are real, and it's important for me to, like, really just lock in and only make the agreements that I'm asked to make in the time frame I'm supposed to make them. Because if not, No, it's gonna be jacked up. It's gonna be outside of what God created for me. So, am I saying that I was supposed to get in I wasn't supposed to get in an agreement with my mom for my cell phone at the time when she was deciding? No, I mean, we was in a house together. We were supposed to work together. And I told her right away, like, I'm getting a job. I'm going to help you and everything like that. And so that changed a lot when I had to when I got myself caught up in a whole fender bender. I was like 140 a week. And I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it just is unnecessary. It was an unnecessary hold back with a moment that I could have just learned from I was words. It was like truly ridiculous for me to have to go through all of that to understand, slow down, grow up, pay the price of attention. It's in my face. It was in my face every day. I could have read it every day. And so it's just a really great lesson for me to actually pay attention to what is given to me and actually meditate on it to gain that wisdom, so that way when I go out I can receive that understanding, because this is the only way that I function. So I'm going to receive that understanding of, oh, this is why this work like this. That makes sense. But speaking about the other agreement that is there, is what is there? It's not my agreement, honestly. I have to get clarity. My agreement was to raise this child up, in my words at that time, how God wanted them to be. And that's all I locked in and stayed focused on.
Mommy, I want to eat.
Okay. So that was my morning. And even accepting the realities of what God set out for me is literally a choice. Nothing else outside of that is literally a choice. You want it or you don't. Like, it's a choice. It's not impossible. What's impossible for man is possible with God. It's not impossible. All the realities, all the like what people say that's out there, fear, anxiety, ADHD, all this is not what God created. A man created that when it was impossible for him. But if I'm functioning as a God, it's possible. And with God who created me, it's possible for me. And I'm speaking on all of this and I know understanding will come later, like that full clarity, when I take the time to be still and lock in. But I know what I'm saying is real, and I knew it was real when I heard it. And so it's just time to grow up, and it's time to be accountable, be responsible. And nothing's wrong with responsibility. It's not boring. It's not what these human adults make it seem like. No, it's like I'm going to respond to the ability that I was given to help myself develop and grow into the image and likeness of God. That's what I'm going to do. And that's it. Like, whatever it takes, get it done. So that's literally it. Now I'm speaking out of the time. So I gotta go. Have a good one.